Real shit. Being a guy in this world, it's tough. I feel like we get compared a lot to women. They always be like, guys have it easy. They don't go through period pains. They don't go through pregnancy. They don't go through childbirth. And I mean, they're right. Physically, we don't have the same pain as them, but mentally, we for sure have it a lot worse. The reason I say this is just because the social norms that are in place, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to emotions, especially, when a woman shows emotions, it's what's normal, it's what's permitted. That's what ladies do. But when it comes to dudes, it's not necessarily that easy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if a dude shows any sort of emotion in public, then he's gonna get bashed for it. The only emotion that's fine for dudes to show is anger. If a dude's being protective or if he's pissed off about something, that's cool because that's what a man's supposed to do. But if you show any other sort of emotion, if you show sadness, disgust, jealousy, any of that, you're gonna get bashed for it. They're gonna call you soft, they're gonna call you a pussy, they're gonna say you're insecure, you're gonna say you're toxic. They're gonna put a lot of negative words in place for it. And that's just what society is. You know, no one really made these rules, but society made it as a whole. And especially as guys, we don't really talk about that a lot. Emotions isn't a conversation that is a topic that we talk about. It's out of the norm. So when it comes to emotions, it's a thing that you got to experience through your own personal journey, your own personal growth. You know, you learn it as you go in life. You learn that you can't cry about certain things, you can't talk about certain things, you can't feel a certain way because of the way it's portrayed and the words and the negativity that's associated with it. And for me, for sure, with my upbringing, that's what, you know, is what was in place. I learned a lot of my emotions and learned to suppress them through my own personal experiences that, you know, I endured through my own personal life. And I feel like that's what the majority of it is with guys in the first place. But truthfully, it wasn't until I reached college in my second to last semester of undergrad where I took a class called Personal Empowerment. This class has literally all to do with emotional intelligence. And at the time, I wasn't too familiar with EQ. I didn't know exactly what it portrayed of, but I just knew it was another elective and I didn't really care for it. So going into this class, I was pretty close-minded. I didn't know what to expect, but I just knew I was going to talk about my emotions to people I didn't know because I didn't even talk about it to people I did know. So yeah, going to this class, I didn't expect much from it or to learn anything from it at all. But as I kept attending class, obviously, this whole class changed my entire perspective. And it did change and shape my entire life. And that's why I believe that everything does happen exactly when it needs to, because I believe that class came at the perfect time, exactly when I needed it, exactly when I needed to hear it to change my mindset, not only for myself, but for the other people around me as well. So in this class, pretty much it's, like I said before, all about emotions. And literally the first chapter, I believe it's one of the most, if not the most important chapter of all, is checking in. In this chapter, it just talks about being able to check in with yourself. And I feel like it's the most important thing that any human can do in their day-to-day lives, at least once a day. Both genders, it don't matter who, but especially for the men that don't really touch base with their feelings. Just honestly seeing what emotions are present, seeing how you feel and why you feel that way. I like reflecting towards the end of my day when I'm winding down, my whole day is finished, to see what emotions were present, why they were present, and how they made me feel. Because once you are able to identify and recognize what emotions are present, then you're able to react in a positive way and not a way which can hurt you and other people. But like I said, most men is not taught, it's not something that we're familiar with. So we kind of lash out or don't react in such a positive way. So being able to sit down and really identify what's present and why you feel that way helps you be more able to respond appropriately. Most people don't have control in their emotions. When something happens, they immediately react, immediately snap, which leads to a lot of negative outcomes. But if you're able to sit down with yourself and truthfully check in and see how you're feeling, then you're able to move and navigate in a more positive way, because you can't do something that you're not familiar with and expect great results. And me personally, I wasn't able to check in with others as good as I am today. But it really just starts within yourself first. If you aren't able to check in with yourself and be honest with yourself with how you're feeling and be there for yourself present, then how are you able or expect yourself to be present with the people in your life, like a partner or family, friends, things like that, when you're not even taking care of your own personal needs, your own personal wants when it comes to your own emotions and validations? It's just not possible. So it's hard and it can be uncomfortable to check in with people in the beginning. But I feel like the more you check in with yourself, the more you ask yourself these uncomfortable questions, the more comfortable it gets for you to ask other people and honestly to grow. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So starting with that inner work helps you express it to the people around you in your life as well. And eventually it helps you check in with the people in your life that you love and care about. It makes it easier to ask those questions that are not really normal in society, that people don't really ask, to really check in how other people are doing, because you will be surprised of what people are going through and what their thoughts and what thoughts they actually have. Because most people, when they ask, they just say, "Oh, like I'm good," and carry on with their day. But that's just another word that society just puts that kind of really doesn't have any more meaning. Don't take good as an answer when you ask somebody. Like expect a response that isn't just good. I'm doing amazing. I'm doing excellent. Or, I'm all right. I'm tired. Whatever it is, um, make sure to get a genuine response, not just something that's a quick response to carry on with your day. Because, like I said, you truthfully never know what someone's going through or what's on their mind until you ask. But yeah, in that class, there's a book that we went over. It's pretty much a workbook, and it's called Know, Choose, Give. And these are the three main chapters within that book: knowing yourself, choosing yourself, and giving yourself. And within these three chapters, there's a lot of subheadings that help you, know yourself, choose yourself, and give yourself in a healthy way. I see this more as a journal. It's some that you can read, but there's also prompts that make you write and stuff like that. And like I said, the first chapter is just checking in with yourself, and I believe it's the most important thing in this emotional intelligence journey, and being able to really present and tap in with your true emotions. And the cool thing is, why I like this book is the person that made it actually went to the university that I went to and stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm planning on making a little series out of this. Just going through the chapters one by one, and hopefully people see it. If not, then it'll be a good little reflection to look back on in the future. But yeah, so the first chapter we'll be going through is knowing yourself and all the subheadings in it, and then we'll slowly just keep going, covering everything. And yeah, check in on yourself, man. Check in on your loved ones. It really doesn't take that much effort to really genuinely ask a simple question of how are you doing, and don't take good as an answer. But I hope you guys are having a good day and an even better week. And if not, just keep taking things day by day, part by part, and eventually everything's just gonna fall into place little by little.